It's a living, breathing thing, the Assumption Parish sinkhole. More than 200 days after it mysteriously began swallowing up the swamp, hundreds of residents are still under a mandatory evacuation order. As Katie Moore reports, the cavern that caused it is still collapsing, leaving Bayou Corn residents wondering if there will ever be an end in sight.
Where was the water in this pasture?
Oh, you couldn't see the fence post.
You couldn't see the fence post till this opened.
It was like somebody flushed a giant toilet. It was just swirly, 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 boom. It was like, man. And it's incredible the way they open up, because like Josh said, it shoots up in the air and boosh, and the next thing you know, you just see this foam swirl. And it's just going down and down and down.
Wow.
It was amazing how fast the water left.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The mattress, the bed, everything was actually going down in the hole where the first person had gone, and now the second person is in the hole trying to save the first, and they're not being successful. So he basically just reacted and did what he had to do to get that person out.
How deep did he say the hole was?
It was deep enough that the person he pulled out to safety was not able to fully extend their arms and even reach the top.
The sinkhole is constantly changing. It changes every time we go out there.
Gary Hecox is an engineer consulting with DNR about what to do about the sinkhole. It's uncharted territory.
The cavern was 3,400 feet deep, which is deeper than any known cavern failure impacting the surface in the international record.
Meaning nowhere in the world has a brine cavern this large collapsed, and it's not finished yet.
About this mess here with all this here mess now.
Well, Judge, I loaned this man my house and I willfully included utilities. But then I come back and he done run up the water bill like something I know was.
Okay, that's not true. You shut your mouth!
Shut your mouth, boy. You in Maine now.
Geophysicists now say the western side of one of the brine caverns is collapsing, filling in from deep in the earth, causing the sinkhole at the surface to expand and contract.
On October 25th, we moved out of our home.
She and some of the 350 evacuated Bayou Corn residents packed a joint legislative hearing in Baton Rouge in recent days looking for answers. Many of the ones they keep getting are conflicting and confusing, especially from the state and the company that once mined the collapsing salt cavern, Texas Brine.
Senator, the cause of the sinkhole is the subject of pending litigation. At this point, I don't think it's proper to have any discussion about what the cause is and whether we accept what anyone has said regarding the cause of the sinkhole.
As wide as this tile. See how it's going around like that? That's how big the hole is. And you're only in this much water.
And we start with the loud boom heard by many and so far explained by none.
That's right. It turns out those booms were heard not just here in the tri-state, but all across the country. So, what is it? Nicole Nisholik spent the entire day asking that question of just about everybody. She joins us now live from the intersection of Green River Road and Lynch with what she found out. Nicole?
Well, and the Vanderburgh County Sheriff tells us that those calls started coming in last night from this area near Green River Road and Lynch Road. And our station has continued taking calls throughout the day. Authorities investigated last night, but people are still scratching their heads.
The sound was like a war bomb.
Stacy Lowry, who lived on Old Coal Mine Road in Newburgh, had just put her kids to bed and was sitting on the couch when she heard it.
A huge explosion. You definitely knew it wasn't a firework going off. Because I've never heard anything like it. Like, very disturbing.
Stacy wasn't the only one.
Yes, I just heard a big explosion. Heard some sort of explosion or something.
Evansville Dispatch got several calls between 9:30 and 11 o'clock Monday night reporting an explosion-like sound.
We obviously dispatch cars. I believe EFD dispatched some fire people. I'm sure EPD dispatched people in the area.
Started Sunday night.
It almost felt like a heavy-duty thunderstorm.
And it gained intensity early Monday morning.
Sounded like a bomb going off.
It was like little tremors.
The house was shaking, the windows were shaking, it was quite loud.
All of the green dots on this map of northeast Clintonville represent where calls were made reporting the unusual noises or shaking. After exploring manhole covers and checking gas levels, the officials called geologists at UW-Madison.
Nothing that I can see points to it being an earthquake.
UW-Madison geologist Clifford Thurber looked at this reading from a seismic station in Shiocton, which is about 20 miles away from Clintonville.
What you can see at that site is evidence that the ground is shaking in an unusual way. It points to some kind of natural phenomenon that's happening, not too deep in the earth, that's causing this shaking.
The news conference is starting in Clintonville, where they're discussing those mysterious booms. Let's listen in.
As of early this morning, after our informational meeting last night, the USGS, the results of their analysis this morning has determined that on Tuesday, March 20th, the second night of Clintonville's tornadoes, thunderous noises at 12:15 a.m., our community did in fact experience an earthquake that registered 1.5 on the earthquake magnitude scale. It is assigned a depth of 5 kilometers, which converts to 3.1 miles inside the earth. They believe that the event is shallow, but do not know how shallow, and due to the fact that we could all hear such prominent noises, it may be even more shallow than determined.
Dr. Agnew experienced the power of ELF waves firsthand back in the 1980s. He was hired by an energy company to locate oil and gas using the same kind of ELF waves at much lower frequencies to carry out his search. It's a process called earth tomography. But during one particular incident, Dr. Agnew believes his use of HAARP-like ELF waves accidentally triggered an earthquake.
It was in the spring of 1987, we arrived in Roseburg, Oregon, to use our ELF technology to search for oil and gas. Setting up that day, we had a little bit different results than we expected because the instant that we energized it, there was between a 4 and 4.5 on the Richter scale earthquake that occurred. We were so amazed about what seemed to be cause and effect. We get to an area that has a high propensity for earthquakes, in an area known as the megathrust of the Pacific Northwest. We turn it on, and an earthquake occurs.
Dr. Agnew demonstrates how he may have triggered the quake.
This is a scale model of what the area looked like in Oregon when we scanned for oil and gas in 1987. The strata right here represents the megathrust area underneath the ground. The rock represents the potential energy set up in the ground from a tectonic stress. What we're going to do is introduce ELF waves and demonstrate that it can in fact trigger an earthquake.
In this case, Dr. Agnew is using a stereo speaker to produce the ELF waves needed for his demonstration.
ELF waves, extremely low frequency waves, are just like a subwoofer. In your car, you can actually feel the vibrations through your body. ELF waves are the same way. They vibrate the earth, and at right resonant frequencies, they can have devastating effects.
When the speaker is activated, ELF waves begin to emit. Tiny vibrations in the sand are detected. Then a few seconds later, the rock representing a fault line shifts.
As you can see, in a very few seconds, the resonant frequency built up in our model released the potential energy in the rock. That concussion, on a real scale, would have been felt for 100 miles. These conditions are already set up in the ground. All it takes is the activation energy to make the release happen. This is a small scale, and we're only using 30 watts in this scale.
When HAARP's broadcast array in Gakona, Alaska sends pulses of ELF waves into the ionosphere, the waves get reflected back down and pass through the Earth and ocean. If 3.6 million watts of ELF waves were purposely or accidentally aimed at an already unstable fault line, it could, according to Dr. Agnew, cause a tremendous earthquake.
Looking at just simple instabilities, what does it take to create an avalanche? A guy walking across an unstable ice field. What does it take to trigger an earthquake? The right signal coming in when the pressures are already built up and they're at their threshold. That feather, in our case that hammer, releases that energy.
I first reported at the beginning of the year that the first 3 animal kill zones coincided with the antenna array configuration for the software used by Digisonde receivers that are utilized by HAARP and other such ionospheric heaters. And in this picture, I show the 3 die-off locations are at the 120-degree angle from each other and define the perimeter of the most active region of the New Madrid fault. The HAARP antennas calibrate signals using a 120-degree radiating angle from the center point. The Digisonde computes comparative signal strength along with each ray of the antenna for directional tuning. Picture here. And this pretty much shows the 3 towns that first started off the animal die-offs: Gilbertsville, Kentucky, Beebe, Arkansas, and LaBarre, Louisiana. And it shows the focal point in between the 120-degree area, and it just so happens that that focal point sits right above the most active region of the New Madrid seismic zone.
overslept. Today's the big day, the annual Smurf picnic. Oh, Smurf, it's raining. I hate rain.
Every time I wash my wagon, it rains.
Oh, and all my laundry is getting wet. Don't worry, Smurfette. I'll help you.
Thanks a lot for your help, Clumsy.
Did you see that? Isn't that the smurfiest thing you ever...
Gosh, it's coming down to buckets now.
It's always the same. Every Smurf complains about the weather, but there's nothing we can do to change it. Wait, what about a weather smurfing machine? Yahoo! This will be my greatest invention yet. At last, Smurf will control the weather. Hey, Andy, where are you going? To the old mill to stop the rain. Sure, Andy, sure. There, it's all ready. Oh, hi, Papa Smurf.
Well, another new machine handy? What's this one for?
I'll show you. Right now it's too rainy for our picnic, so I'll just order up some sunshine. Presto! Perfect picnic weather.
Andy, your machine is abso-smurfly amazing. But I wonder if it's wise to fool with nature like this.
Don't worry, Papa Smurf. From now on, changing the weather is a breeze.
All right, smurf your machine to fine, and we'll all go on our picnic.
You got it.
Goodbye, farewell, my friend. Parting is such sweet smurfness.
Aren't you coming to the picnic, Poet Smurf?
No, no. I'm going to stay behind and compose an ode to the sun.
I'll be soon taking care of me dusty little lettuces. I reckon first I smurf this leader.
An ode to the sun. Oh, glorious sun, so warm and bright.
That machine be a great step forward for agriculture.
This rain is spoiling my poem. The weather smurfing machine must be out of order. I'll just smurf the controls to strong sun.
There, see, Papa Smurf? It was only a passing shower. I told you you could count on my machine. I hate counting.
Oh, Smurf, that lovely rain have already stopped. I be going to set that machine to downpour, ID.
Take two. Oh, glorious sun, so warm and bright. I suppose I'll just have to order up a heat wave.
Ha-ha! Either way, little plants. Just you keep on growing. Who is turning on the heat?
I'll just recite my ode right here so that I won't be interrupted anymore. Oh, glorious sun, so warm and bright.
Well, I'll be smurfed. Poet, have you been interfering with that there machine?
Indeed I have. Sunshine has an illuminating effect on my poetry.
Well, I'll be needing an irrigating effect on my plants.
Oh, no you don't. I was here first. Ouch!
Keep your poetry-picking hands off.
Oh, of all the luck, my umbrella's jammed. It stopped. Oh, now it's jammed again.
Andy, I think there may be one or two little details you overlooked on your weather smurfing machine.
I want rain.
And I want sun.
I say rain.
Sun.
Rain.
Sun.
Rain.
No, sun.
All of a sudden, it's boiling hot.
Perfect weather for a dip in the lake. Come on, last winter is all wet.
Hey, the lake's frozen.
So's my tail.
Oh, well, look at the bright side. We can skate on the ice.
Sun!
Rain!
Sun!
Rain! This is starting to get out of hand. Andy, I'm afraid your weather smurfing machine has gone haywire.
Oh, don't worry, Papa Smurf. I'll just go back to the village and fix it.
We'll all go back. It's not safe out for Smurf or Peach.
No!
Rain!
Sun,
Rain!
sun.
Rain!
Snow? The machine's out of control! We have to shut it off!
The controls be stuck. I reckon we got to do something before it gets any worse.
We best tell Papa Smurf. Great Smurf! I've never seen the river so full. Look, here comes Handy and the others.
Thanks, Smurfness.
Handy, come quickly. It's your machine.
What's wrong?
Well, we was having a wee little argument, and we sort of kind of moved the controls a little. Well, just a mite, and they kind of got a tiny bit broken.
I knew it. Well, don't just stand there. Let's go fix it.
Correction, it's frozen mud. I double hate frozen mud.
Well, look at it this way, Papa Smurf. At least now my machine can't make things any worse. Hey! Hey!
You were saying, Handy?
Oh, boo! I want to go home.
We'll never get home.
Handy, this is all because of you and your weather smurfing machine.
Me? What about Fort and Farmer?
I'm innocent.
Nay, the true culprit is Farmer Smurf.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hold it! We have enough problems without all this. Now behave your Smurfs and let's get moving.
Oh, I'm so hot. Now I'm so cold. Now I'm so
scared. My poor machine. It's even worse than I feared.
Quickly, we must reach it before the weather changes again. Hang on, Smurfs! We're nearly there! Pull, Handy! Turn it off!
It's no use, Papa Smurf! The controls are jammed!
Oh, I knew it! We're doomed! Finished!
I can use this!
Hey! My umbrella! What are you doing to it?
Aha! A Smurfy idea, Handy! Stand back! Everyone back!
Weather smurfing machine?
I know how hard it was for you to destroy your greatest invention, Handy. But from now on, we must never tamper with nature without first considering the consequences.
Yes, Papa Smurf! Ooh, happy days are here again. Yeah, that sun sure feels good. Oh, yeah? How am I supposed to finish my new Ode to the Rain? Well, at least it's ecologically sound.
But there's something else here. We're going to show that later. But anyway, this is Sandy Hook. Now here, you'll see this blue line here is an interstate highway. And this is what the YouTube user I referred to previously was talking about. And here's a close-up of another section of that same area. Look at what it says right here. That says Interstate 35. Well, now, New York does not have Interstate 35. Why would they put Interstate 35 on this map? Well, it's a clue. It's a clue, and it's going to tell us something here, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. Now, here's another interstate full of strike zones. This is strike zone 5, and again, this is an interstate, and look at this right here. You can't see it very well, but it's 65. This is Interstate 65. These are staging areas. This is a checkpoint, according to the key at the bottom of the map. Staging areas, checkpoint, strike zone, and this, of course, is a river. It says Queens River here. All right, let's go on down. There's a close-up showing Interstate 65 is right there, close to the strike zone. Now, here's a map. I'm showing the long stretch from the bottom, from strike zone 1 through 3 and then through 5. And this is a very interesting layout, because if you'll notice, and we can zoom in on these later, the roads here go into the river, but they disappear. It's like, why would the roads go into the river and then disappear? We also have boat tours here. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this represents something else. Now here's the puzzle mystery that a lot of people are missing. There's another interstate listed on this map. This is Interstate 25. And you'll notice that it's right here at the top of Interstate 35. It connects with it, and there's no strike zone in this area. You'll see that there's an arrow that points back and forth, and I wondered about that. What does this arrow have to do with anything? Well, this arrow evidently is showing where people will be able to travel safely back and forth. I mean, that's what the purpose of a double arrow is, right? To show that we'd be able to travel back and forth. Back and forth where? Back and forth between Interstate 35 and 25. Well, as I said, we have arrow going both ways. The meaning of this is that between Interstate 25 and Interstate 35 we will have truck routes after the catastrophe that is to come, and that's what this map is about. It's a warning of what is to come. Now, let's take a look at this. Again, we have Interstate 65 with Strike Zone 5 at the top. We have a river going all the way down to Strike Zone 1. There's Strike Zone 3 in the middle. If this river represents the Mississippi River, therefore these strike zones would represent parts of the Mississippi River. This would be the upper near the Great Lakes. This would be the New Madrid area, or this would represent Louisiana, Strike Zone 1. Of course, we know what's happening now in Louisiana if you're keeping up with it, which most people are not, because the news media is not following this. They're not keeping up with it. But in Strike Zone 1, it's obvious that this is representing Louisiana. And in Louisiana, we have the Assumption Parish sinkhole in Bayou Corn, which has now grown to 8 acres, and at this time it is bubbling. There is gas and oil bubbling out the size of about an acre. So we're talking about a mega disaster in the process of happening right now in Louisiana. If you live in this area, folks, if you live in within 50 to 100 miles of Bayou Corn, I highly recommend that you leave that area very soon. I believe that it's going to explode. I believe that the sinkhole is going to get much larger, and it's going to be a disaster of apocalyptic proportions. And what's going to lead to eventually is the eroding of the Luan Salt Dome. And I'll show you what that is here. And right now, I'll show you that. Let me see. Where is it? Here it is. The Luan Salt Dome is much larger than the state of Texas. And as you can see, it completely covers Louisiana and about 1/3 of the state of Texas. When this salt layer is compromised, and it already has been compromised through frac teching and other means, but when it's completely compromised, then it'll be just nothing but caverns under the ground, empty spaces, and it will be just a matter of time. It'll be like waiting for the earthquake, the New Madrid earthquake. When it hits, not only will the New Madrid area go, but so will a great deal of the Gulf Coast, completely collapsing in on itself, forming an inland sea. That's what that sinkhole in Louisiana is. It is the beginning of this calamity that's to come. And the news media is not following it. At least most of the news media, at least the major news outlets. And the reason they're not following it is because if they did, people might begin to wake up and realize that something is up. For obvious reasons, they're not following it.
The Twin Towers are seen smoking at upper left side. This film reveals two presidents with the same agenda. Bush is one and Obama is two. Bush is not the mastermind. He is, instead, being controlled like a puppet on a string. The pet goat is a reference to the story that was read by the children in the Florida classroom on the morning of September 11, 2001. George Bush was there for a photo opportunity, but it was actually a satanic ritual to introduce the 911 event and change the world forever.
Fool me once, fool me once, fool me once. Shame on, shame on. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. Fool me, take that fool again, take that fool.
The people can't be fooled twice by this president, so he needs to transform into something new for Pet Goat 2. Amazing. Bush turns into Obama. So now we see how he turns from the dunce president to the college-educated president. But wait. There is more. Please notice that the pushpins on the wall represent past, present, and possibly even future false flag events. The major New York area, Sandy Hook event and the destruction of the Twin Towers in New York City, Oklahoma City bombing, New Orleans area, Hurricane Katrina and the current Louisiana sinkhole, and the Gulf of Mexico, where the BP oil disaster took place. Up next. Believe it or not, Several very clear and obvious references to the Sandy Hook hoax and false flag event. And remember, this film predates the Sandy Hook event by several months. Obama is given a cue to laugh out loud, because of what he is about to see, another great deception foisted upon the people. And here is the next part. Here we have a young blonde-haired blue-eyed girl surrounded by 12 other child figures which appear to have no real life. In all honesty, this already suggests the Sandy Hook hoax with children who did not even appear to exist. The girl, of course, appears to perfectly fit the profile of Emily Parker, the one child who received the most attention of all those allegedly killed at Sandy Hook. The apple rolls over the upside-down letters C7 before striking Obama's foot. Obama is holding down a gold coin with his foot, suggesting, possibly, that he is holding back the economy of this nation for some devious purpose. The apple splits in two, and the two halves are reconnected with a pink lotus flower growing between them. This suggests that a great division is about to take place in the United States. Let us summarize the Sandy Hook connections in iPad Go to number 1. The owl above the general location on the map of Connecticut. The owl became a symbol for the Sandy Hook event, when one of the children of Sandy Hook supposedly drew a picture of an owl to give to Anderson Cooper on live television. The owl, of course, is the symbol for Baphomet. Number 2. One of the push pins appears to be near Newtown, Connecticut. But it could also be seen as near to New York City itself. Number 3. There is the picture of the house that is on fire, or the firehouse. The firehouse was the staging area for the Sandy Hook event. Number 4. Obama is told to laugh out loud based on a cue card. Why is he laughing, if not at the ignorance of the masses in falling for the Sandy Hook hoax? Number 5. We now see 12 children that are grayed out as if they did not exist, surrounded with barbed wire, and dented and damaged, along with a 13th child that is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and has an apple in her hand as she starts photo. Notice, there are 13 bodies as if lifeless and 12 are faceless as if they do not even exist. The children at Sandy Hook were noted to be ages 7 and 6, which when added together makes 13. The blonde girl could be a representation of Lilith, a Jewish mythical woman who sacrificed children. However, she does appear to somewhat resemble another little girl caught up in the drama of Sandy Hook, Emily Parker. Emily, it has been discovered, was photoshopped into her own family photos. Some claim she was found several days after Sandy Hook, alive and well. Whatever the truth, Emily Parker, along with her father, Robbie Parker, have somehow taken the forefront of this Sandy Hook event, actors playing the parts of grieving father and slain daughter. The focus has indeed been put on Emily Parker, and because of the staged drama of Sandy Hook, the apple has now passed on to Congress as they seek to bring in very strict gun control laws as a result of this false flag event. As the apple rolls across the checkered floor, it crosses over the letters C7 before hitting the boot of Obama, which is holding down a golden coin. It breaks open and becomes a lotus flower, an occult symbol of new birth, as in Newtown. The C7 is the fully automatic version of the same AR-15 semi-automatic rifle which authorities claim Adam Lanza used to kill 20 children and 6 adults. Obama is now very much afraid because he knows what the plan is and that another false flag event is coming which will dwarf all of the others, including 9/11. Psalm 23 is written in graffiti on the wall, which is the same text used by Obama at the Sandy Hook funerals. It says, "Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." So now we have two false flag events hinted at from a Bible text. Obama quotes this text in connection with the Sandy Hook false flag, and in doing so hints at the next major false flag, the new Madrid earthquake. The subtle hint of the dividing of the nation with an inland sea is given in the phrase "valley of the shadow of death." The next thing that happens is the tearing of the U.S. flag in two, showing that this interpretation of the previous 2 points is really national division, both physical and spiritual. Now there is a lot going on in just this one shot alone. We have a fence that goes into the water like it was recently flooded. This same thing happens in the Gotham City map, where many different streets named after fish go directly into the river. We have this whole scene found deep in a depression that looks more like a sinkhole created by erosion, that valley of the shadow of death hinted at in the Psalm 23 graffiti seen earlier. And we have the twin towers in the background that appear like male and female forms. This reveals the occult nature of those towers, and how they represent the twin pillars of Freemasonry, that represent the sun and the moon. What we are witnessing here are the two major false flag events for these two presidents. The Bush false flag event was the destruction of the Twin Towers. The Obama false flag event will be the creation of an inland sea from the Greek lakes all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, through the HAARP-induced mega New Madrid earthquake. It is not the only false flag event under Obama, but these are minor in comparison. These may include the Sandy Hook hoax and the hoax killing of Osama bin Laden. Here is that great inland sea. Now look closely at these little islands. These are not normal islands. Instead, they look like they have been dissolved by something, giving them a Swiss cheese effect. This is exactly what salt looks like when it dissolves. Even as we are walking this earth, thinking we are on solid ground, it could be that many of the salt domes underneath the ground have already been weakened and compromised and are ready to collapse. They could very well have the same appearance as shown here. The Lewis salt layer is over a mile thick and covers parts of 7 states. If you live underneath this Lewis salt layer, your very life could be in serious jeopardy. And finally, this man trapped on this dissolving salt island has nowhere to go, and decides to commit suicide. He does this because, just like in Hurricane Katrina, help from FEMA is late in coming, if at all. Here is more salt dissolving imagery, only this time it includes oil and suggests the situation in southern Louisiana, where a sinkhole is getting much worse and is now a mixture of oil, butane, and water. And finally we have the Statue of Liberty standing upon a base that looks like the national symbol of Israel, the six-sided Star of David. For those who know of this symbol is really an occult symbol.
We're relieved it's over.
I'm afraid it isn't. Mount St. Helens has erupted again.
We we could see an escalating series of events. Quakes, volcanoes, massive sinkholes, gaseous explosions, flooding, and other anomalies.
This sounds more like the coming of the apocalypse.
Nevada is completely overwhelmed. The collapse of Hoover Dam and now Las Vegas. We need to get teams out there right away.
I got your back. All right, let's do this. All right.
A new rift fault is forming in the Midwest that could potentially cut the North American continent in two.
My God!
I'm tired of hearing what we can do. Tell me what we can do.
The devil himself couldn't think of something like that.
Laura's alive, man. You gotta believe that, okay?
What's wrong?
The two largest nuclear reactors in the United States.
Our fault's gotta run straight through them.
We could lose as many as 75 million people.
Then we have to stop that fault from reaching those reactors.
All we have to do is wait for the right moment, provide the fuse, and boom.
I'm tired of hearing what we can do. Tell me what we can do.
For them, the chaos started on August 3rd when the earth opened up. Cypress trees fell over and were sucked into the water. But that was the result of something bigger that had started months earlier when police on a boat ride first noticed bubbling in the bayou. The slurry stirred up trouble for residents who were forced to leave their homes. Texas Brine began paying them $875 a week for the inconvenience.
Devil himself couldn't think of something like that.
They're being told this is dangerous. Get out. And they need to get out. That land, those homes, it's useless now.
They were forced out months ago under a mandatory evacuation order when a massive sinkhole was discovered just miles from their homes. Texas Brine is taking the blame and has been paying evacuees nearly $900 a week.
They've got a situation and they're trying to tell the community clearly this is a mandatory evacuation. That means danger.